Hi guys, I'm Dylan, the founder of Foundation, and I've been getting a few questions about how to use the plugin. Let me first tell you that Foundation is a plugin for designers that often have to quickly kickstart a small design system. And Foundation should take that effort down from hours to a few seconds. So let's boot up the plugin Foundation and see how that works. So we load the plugin and we have a quick look around the interface. We see that we can configure some colors, configure a root font size, and download the variables that we have as a JSON. Down here, we have a settings tab, which allows us to select which variables we would like to generate. And we have a small feedback button. And I would really appreciate it if you leave some feedback or something doesn't work, but also feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. Just send me a message and we can sort things out. So let's say I have this old sketch of Foundation here on my artboard, and we want to create a small design system for it, and we need some tokens for that, design tokens. So I'm opening the Colors tab, and I want to define a primary color, which in this case is the soft pink or um, salmon pink, so I like to say. And as you can see, we don't really have a secondary color. Everything else is just kind of gray, which is captured in the neutral colors, but you can change it if you want. And same for all the success or signal colors. After we have defined our colors, we hit save and we open the configure root font size. Now, in my case, I don't want to change it, but what happens here is if you change the pixel value here, all the spacing variables and all the typography variables that will be generated will be based on this root font size. And if you want to know how that works exactly, give it a quick Google or ask ChatGPT or send me a message and I'll explain a bit more. So just going to leave that as is. And now we're going to hit the generate button. I'll just quickly deselect this frame to show you what happens exactly. Let's hit generate. As you can see on the right, all sorts of textiles are created. That is very noticeable, but what's a little bit less noticeable is that under local variables, we now have a series of variables configured based on the input that we gave it. So for example, we have spacing in tailwind-friendly naming conventions. In fact, there's even um, extra zoom mode if you want. And if you look at some other variables, you'll find that it comes with tailwind-friendly code syntaxes, so developers can work with it instantly. And everything is kind of cascading. So the base sizes are here, and you'll find that number 4, as is the tailwind default, is the root font size. And everything lower is like, well, everything is just kind of cascading like that. Now let's also have a quick look at the colors because we just defined a primary brand color. And as you can see here is that in the primary brand color, immediately a whole series of shades have been created. And in our case, shade 200 is the one that we defined. So this one, let's check, should be exactly the same as the one in the design. Let's see. Where do we have it? Oh, my own face is on top of that. FFBABA. FFB8BA. Okay, well, in order to make sure the colors cascade properly, it may every once in a while change the color a little bit. I'll sort that out at some point. Let's see. Now, all these base variables have been created. So for brand, neutral, and the signal colors. And other than that, so apart from that, we have these semantic variables. And I started with a small set like surface, content, border, feedback, shadows, overlays, etc., and a few interactive to get you started. Now, this is really meant as something to help you get started, but as your system progresses, of course, you can adjust and tweak this to grow with your project. But now let's have a look how we can apply all these variables, right? So we know we have a color that we like. So that was, that is a content color, primary. The neutral color is also default. I'm just gonna quickly set this one to the default surface, just to show you how it works. These are two interactive buttons, so we can say interactive, neutral. Now let's go with this one, comes closest, and the content in there should be inverted. Do I like that? Actually, let's go also with interactive color, neutral, but the weak one, so that on hover states, we can change to the hover and press state. Another content, this one is more muted. I'd like these to be, these are not interactive, neutral. Let's go, actually, this is a surface raised, and the content here is muted as well. I have two more buttons, interactive buttons. So interactive weak. No, actually, not weak, medium. Default with the interactive weak text on top or content on top. And here we have a primary button, so interactive primary default and interactive primary strong. Now contrast might not be perfect yet here, we can tweak that, but we have set up all our colors with variables now, and we can go as far as to say, well, we see that all our surfaces have rounded corners and they're the same, so we can go in here and say, well, rounded corner was 8. There we go. That's nice. All of them have some padding. So let's set the padding for these. We'll say padding, let's see, what is it? 3. Here too, padding 3. Let's see for this one. Break, apply. And we have gaps as well, right? So gap 8. And if I'm going too fast for this, please just pause the video or rewind it for a bit. And after playing with this system for a bit, it'll start to make sense. So there we go. Set some of the paddings. And we could do that for everything in here. But let's first go back to the colors, because Foundation actually generates also dark themed colors. Now, so what we can do here is duplicate the screen and go to this little appearance and select apply variable mode. And we see that colors pops up. And we can actually set this to dark, and boom, it will invert the colors in an appropriate way. And you can select multiple elements and still make adjustments where needed. Let's say we wanted to go for muted, actually. Oh, it looks a bit better. And what is nice about this is that if we close the plugin now, and we don't really like this strong brand shade that we have, we can actually go into our system and say like, hey, you know what, that should really uh, be the same for whatever reason as this one. Or even better is we go to the semantic name, the content one, and we say, instead of using primary 500 for our content, we want to use 200. That's better. But actually on light mode, that doesn't work so well. So having a slightly darker one works out better. And we can do the same for all the other semantic elements, right? So that's how you can quickly start playing with variables and with the styles that are predefined as well. So let's say we want to use a text style, and we see that our current font height is 32, so we'll pick one that's close to that, H1. And now we see, oh, wait a minute, right? We didn't update the font yet. And we can do that easily, again, in the local variables by going to typography. We'll go to font families. And here we see that for UI elements, we're using inter. But actually, we want to use, well, we can use different things really. We can use Ionic, we love Ionic here, or I don't know, Roboto, or the one I was using before. I always forget the name of it. What is it called? Departure Mono. Freaky cool font. So Departure Mono. Boom. And now it's back. So yeah, that's kind of what Foundation is in a nutshell. Let me know if you have questions, if other things need to be explained, and love to help you out. Hope you like Foundation. Cheers.